We added a service, we added basic routing, so we added state management and navigation, two important features for using Angular. And of course, we have all the other nice features of being able to just use ngFor instead of writing our own JavaScript logic to add elements dynamically to the DOM. And this shows us why using Angular is nice, and it also shows you that it works together with Ionic just fine. Now, it is especially awesome to see it work together with Angular when we do need extra features like that alert controller. Remember that previously, if we wanted an alert controller, we had to integrate Ion alert controller as a component, and then we had to get access to it programmatically so that we could use it. Now you see I even get an error that Angular doesn't know that alert controller because the Ionic Angular package doesn't even wrap it into an Angular component as it does for all the other components. The reason for that is that we now use this alert controller differently, more conveniently. To show you how to use it, let's edit our app a little bit and let's make sure we can delete a recipe here, shall we? For this, in our toolbar, I'll add another Ion buttons element. Slot here is primary. This will be by default at the end of the toolbar. And I'll add an Ion button in there where I want to have an Ion icon. Let's find a nice icon for deleting something on ionicons.com. If we search for delete, this trash bin here will do. The name is trash. So here I'll give this a name of trash. I only want to have the icon. So on the Ion icon, I'll give it a slot of icon only. So in that button, I'll now only have that icon. That is what this does. And if you now save that on the app as it reloads, if we go to the detail page here, you see that trash bin here. Now when I tap this, I want to delete this recipe. For that, let's go to the recipe service and let's add a delete recipe method. And we need the recipe ID of the recipe that should be deleted, of course. And then I will set this recipes equal to this recipes filter. Filter is another function built into default normal JavaScript. And this will execute a function on every element in this recipes array. And if this function then returns true, it will keep this element. Otherwise, it will get rid of it. And I, of course, want to keep all elements but the element with the recipe ID here. So I go through all my recipes here. And I want to return true if I want to keep it and false if I want to drop it. So I will return recipe ID equal to recipe ID. That would now return true for all elements where the IDs are equal, but actually I want to drop the element where the ID is equal, so I will check if it's not equal here. Now this is delete recipe. With delete recipe added, we can use it in the recipe detail component. There on this button, let's add a click listener and execute on delete recipe or whatever you want to call it. Let's add this method in the recipe detail page component file here. And in there, I want to use my recipe service and call delete recipe for the recipe ID we loaded here. Now, I'm only storing it in ngOn init, but I do have my loaded recipe. So this loaded recipe and there the ID. This is in the end the ID I want to pass to delete recipe. Now, once we're done deleting, of course, I want to leave that page because the data for this page will have been gone. And therefore, I'll inject the router. And with that, I mean the normal Angular router from @angular/router. And after deleting here, I will call this router navigate. And now I will go to just /recipes here. Well, let's see if that works. It does. But of course, I wanted to show you how we can use that alert controller in a nicer way.